Good evening, traders. Welcome to one more episode of Weekly Sectoral Analysis. What we have in front of us is a very superb starting of the week with a very good gap up, especially due to the government decreased GST on various goods and services. After that, we had 2 days of good, decent short-term momentum, and after that, Thursday and Friday, we saw that Nifty has corrected from upside by almost 300 points. Now, why this has happened, frankly, there could be many factors. Probably many people are saying because today there was some interest rate announcement in the American markets. Could be. But what I can see on the charts as a trader, as a technical trader, that this entire correction, from 25,650 or whatever till the recent bottom which happened here, we had retraced this movement and when we completed this retracement by close to 61.8% retracement, which is an important level, we did hit a resistance, and from there we have come down. Now the question over here is this just a mere pullback and we are going to go down, or what? Frankly, before addressing to that particular question, we should first have a look at the weekly time frame chart. In an instance, if you see the weekly time frame chart, you will understand that if I just for 1 second, if I just remove this one candle, this one inverted hammer, because what happens is when we look at this inverted hammer, we will try to, we'll try to avoid all these price movements. But according to me, if for just 1 second, if you just avoid this particular price, candle which has appeared today on the weekend, you will understand that it is a positive state of trend because the displacement of the moving averages is fine. Price has been able to bounce back from the support, and now there over here we have one negative candle. Generally, we do not have gaps in weekly time frame charts. Either the gaps get filled, either they don't appear, something like that. So next week is going to be very interesting. But just because of one single negative candle, we should not, as traders, say that the trend is now negative. In fact, even in the daily time frame chart, if we check the entire rally from this bottom to this part, yes, I do agree that today's sell-off was a bit more aggressive. इतना ज़्यादा aggressive selling नहीं होना चाहिए था. Even if it would have been probably 50 points or 100 points crack, it would be fine. But 200 points crack was, yes, it was a bit too much. But still, I would say that in case if in the next week we start bouncing back in case, and then if we want to go higher, if Nifty wants to go higher, head higher, then minimal what it has to do is surpass this high of 25,200 or 25,250. If we are able to do that, only then I think bullish traders will be able to benefit from the upside. Otherwise, it will be very difficult. All right. Now, Bank Nifty. Bank Nifty, again, if you have a look at the weekly time frame chart, I would say that the state of trend is bullish because the displacement of the moving averages is positive. Although the daily time frame chart is not looking that great. It is not that great, I would say. It is bit range bound side of movement, you can say. It is within a range. So I think as of now, I will not speak a lot about the daily chart of the Bank Nifty, but I would surely like to comment on the private banking space, because last week also in my weekly sectoral analysis, I clearly said that if Bank Nifty wants to move higher, then the biggies, the bigger stocks in the banking pack has to move. And if you check the private banking space, it has not been able to rally. In fact, it just made a gap up, consolidated, and in fact, it has sold out the entire gains, and it is below this gap, which has not happened in Nifty. So I should say that the private banking space is now not looking that great. This is a short-term support, the recent low. I hope we don't break this. If we break this on a closing basis, then things can get a bit rough, bit bad for the private banking space. So this is a short-term support. Let's see what happens over here. PSU banking space, on the other hand, they are looking much better even right now in comparison to the private banking space. Once again, if you look at the private banking space and if you have a look over here, they look different. Like we had a pretty good pullback. We did not break this recent low and we have turned down from here because probably this candle was a resistance. So I think if you want to continue up ahead, we'll have to close above this resistance and then we'll be able to move higher. Otherwise, it'll be difficult. But today, if you look in today's candle, if you check PSU banking space candle, it's not that great. Frankly, it's not that great. Taking into consideration that this low was not broken and this rally happened pretty nicely, today's sell-off is a bit surprising. Yes, I would agree with that. Okay. Energy pack. Energy pack, I should say that it is still consolidating. It is pretty much sideways. I would say that yes, we are at a support over here. This recent low is a support. Let's say that if we close below this, then things can get a bit rough. And then we could be in a bit of problem in the energy pack as well. Auto pack, I think the way it has moved higher, it is pretty nice, I should say. It has bounced back from these supports in the weekly time frame chart, consolidated and again moved higher. The overall trend, state of trend, everything seems to be bullish. As trader, as a long only trader, if someone is trading in the auto pack, then one should start trailing their stop losses as quickly as possible because it looks slightly overstretched in the short term. Okay. Consumption pack also overall looks positive. I think the way consumption pack has moved up, it seems that it is overstretched on the upside. The trend is positive, no doubt about that, but a long only trader should surely trail their stop losses. Finance pack. Well, finance pack was looking better, but somehow I think it could not perform. And once again, if it wants to move higher, it will have to surpass this high on the upside. Only then it will be possible. And we should also say that this low should not be broken. If this low is broken, then we could be in a bit problematic mode in the finance pack. FMCG. FMCG, I should say more or less it is choppy, sideways. Suddenly you will see in the FMCG pack it's rallying, suddenly it's crashing, bounces back pretty sharply, again it's come down, again it goes up, again it comes down. So I think it is more or less choppy, range bound, and there is nothing much interesting except one or two stocks, but I would not like to get into the stocks part. But as an index, as an FMCG index, I think it is more or less choppy. If we want to move higher, this range should be broken on the upside. Only then you will be able to see some good move in the FMCG space. IT pack. IT pack, I would say that we are still in a downtrend. We are still in a downtrend. We can see in the weekly time frame chart, the displacement of the moving averages is still negative. Same is visible in the daily time frame chart. And if you remember, I had clearly told you about the positive divergence over here. You can check this. We had a positive divergence, and due to this positive divergence, we had a pretty sharp pullback. And now if I would plot the Fibonacci from here, I think since this swing is pretty long in terms of length, I think 23.6% Fibonacci retracement is acting as a decent resistance, not a very strong, but a decent resistance. And I think overall, probably as a trader, I would, like to avoid going long in the IT pack as of now. I would like to wait because since the higher time frame charts are looking bearish, I would avoid going long in the IT pack until and unless something great happens over here. Okay. Metal pack, I should say that this support has not been broken. It's a good sign. But from the last 3 weeks, if you can see, we have negative candles. In the daily time frame chart, the overall state of trend is fine. We have not been able to break this low. We are making a higher low. That is fine, but we need to see momentum on the upside. We need to break these highs. Only then we will be able to see some momentum on the upside. So resistance should be broken, otherwise it will not be very easy. Infra pack, as of now, I think I would like to wait and watch. The way it has bounced back is pretty nice, and I should say that it's not a very bad sector as of now. It's okay. The candle which has been made here is not that great, because the wick of this candle has added resistance over here, which I can completely understand, because the wick over here is pretty large in size. And I think if you look at the state of trend again, the displacement of moving averages is positive in the weekly time frame chart, but it is negative in the daily time frame chart. So I would say that again, if we want to move higher, we need to surpass 90 to 70 or something like that, or at least 90 to 50, just below than that, in case if you want to catch up some upside momentum. Otherwise, it's not going to be that easy. Pharma pack, slowly and steadily, I should say that it is catching up momentum. Next week is going to be very, very interesting. So I think we should wait for a week and try to understand what's going to happen. I would like to give little bit time to the pharma pack, taking into consideration that this fall happened all of a sudden. When the rally was happening, it was slow, steady, low volatility rally, pretty decent, and suddenly we had a big correction out of nowhere. This is because the heavyweight stock came down, and now it's trying to recoup, it's trying to rebuild itself. So when it's trying to rebuild itself, it will obviously face some resistances in the path when it's going higher. So I think let it test its own self, and let the price tell us probably by the next week that what's going to happen in the pharma pack. Only then we should probably have a view on it. PSE as a sector looks negative, doesn't look good that much. It did bounce back, tried pretty hard. Now, the displacement of the moving averages in this weekly time frame chart is still positive, but if you check properly, the candles are not that great. Like this was one high wave candle which came at a support. Then this is the second candle, which is an inverted hammer. I would say still it's okay. Let's say that a green candle mila after a series of so many multiple red candles, but suddenly in this week we also have a red candle. So overall, I would say that not a great looking chart. Even the displacement of the moving averages in the daily time frame chart is not that great. So as a trader, I would like to stay away going long in this sector as of now. I would like to wait. Realty pack. A realty pack, it has been able to bounce back pretty sharply. That's a good sign. But if you check properly, after many weeks, now what has happened is suddenly we have a candle which has an upper wick, looks like a shooting star, but it's not. But it's certainly not positive, and the displacement of moving averages has turned negative from positive. It's a negative sign for the realty pack. Also, if you check in the daily time frame chart, we can see inverted hammer, we can see a red candle. So overall, as a trader, I would stay away from going long in this sector as of now. I would like to wait. Surely, I wouldn't go long at this juncture. Midcaps, they have been able to bounce back nicely in the last few days, but they are not able to sustain. So I think we'll have to wait and watch what happens. Let's say that we don't break the low of this current week. If we break this low of this current week, then probably we could be in a bit of problem. So I think next week is going to be interesting. So now summing it up all in this week's analysis, I would say that just talking about Nifty, just Nifty, if I would say, things are okay. Like things could have been better. It was good to see, like after such a 6 weeks correction, it was good to see a decent bounce back, and it was looking that things are getting back in place, and probably we could head higher. Then suddenly we have two negative candles which take away suddenly 300 points from Nifty. Now, as a trader, I would say that this is not a time when all the sectors are aligned on the upside. There are a few sectors which I pointed out, like Realty is not looking that great. PSE is also not looking that great. There, I have my doubts in IT pack also. And auto as a sector is doing really great. So I should say, as a trader, as a short-term trader, especially as a swing trader or a momentum trader, this is not a market for a blanket view. Like you'll say, I'll just say Nifty and I'll probably go long any stock. No, you'll have to understand, and you'll have to also check what is happening in the different sectoral indices, and probably wherever things are positive, you'll have to take a bullish stance, and where things are negative in a sector where things are not working out on the upside, you will have to stay cautious and probably stay away, right? So I hope this video has helped you to understand and give you a check on your bullish view on the market. So trade less, trade wisely, and be cautious next week. Thank you.